that out quick. I'll make a prediction. Who did we used to have? Wasn't it Criswell we used to have on?
Yes.
Criswell, the great prediction. Whatever happened to Criswell? We got to get him back here. Remember Criswell? Fellow always said they're going to be ticks in Tennessee.
Right.
Old weevils in Boston. Strange man. But anyway, I predict that 76 is going to be a very good year. But don't go by me. I also predicted that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would become a jockey. Very tall jockey. Ed is going to spend a quiet... We're not big party goers. No. What Ed does New Year's Eve, he has one drink to celebrate the New Year's Eve. What he does, he fills his waterbed with margaritas, puts salt around the edges, and just lay there sucking on a lemon, yelling, whoopee. Which is better than you did last year.
That's right.
Last year, it made no sense at all.
No.
Well, you know what he did last year? Checked into a Burbank motel with a case of vodka, about 6 bottles of Galliano, some orange juice. He put a dress over his wearing blender and checked into the motel as Mr. and Mrs. Harvey Wallbanger. I mean, that is a weird night. Tommy, is Tommy here tonight?
Yes,
Tommy Newsom's got an exciting evening. You know what he does?
Right.
He's taking a drink, then rushing down to the Hollywood Wax Museum and pick a fight with Humphrey Bogart. I have some sad news for the band, guys, about your New Year's Eve party.
Yeah?
They intercepted the Costa Rican fishing boat. So,
That's okay. We'll go out past the 12-mile limit.
you're already past the 12-mile limit. No, this is a happy time of year. Some people get depressed right at the last day of the new year. But right after the show, we're going over to the NBC commissary because they put on a real swinging New Year's Eve party. Remember that fabulous food and marvelous hors d'oeuvres you've ever seen in your life. And the best part is you don't have to get them. They come to you. Would you believe at the NBC commissary the guacamole is the only thing that's not green? President Ford, I understand, is going to... True. What's so true? President Ford is having a big bash at the White House tonight. He invited the conservative part of the Republican wing. And at midnight, they're going to ring in the old. That's what they're going to do at midnight. Now, in Burbank, where we do the show, I always say from Hollywood, but we should give Burbank credit out in the valley here. It's a nice city. We kid Burbank. They have a number of exciting parties here. Burbank does have... They have some older senior citizens. And what they do at New Year's Eve, at the stroke of midnight, they kiss anyone who's having a stroke at midnight. It's kind of a weird type of thing. And they have... champagne is up 10% this year. I don't know whether you know this or not, but they have a local champagne out here, Chateau Burbank. 1928. It's not exactly a champagne. What it is, it's a magnum of barium that's been passed through Lawrence Welk's bubble machine. Where'd you spend? You grew up in
Lowell, Massachusetts.
Lowell, Massachusetts. Yeah. Lowell, too? Yeah.
Hey, Boston.
I come from Nebraska, you know.
Yes.
And New Year's Eve's a little... See, back there, I have kind of strange memories because they made confetti out of cow chips. And I always tried to get home before 12 o'clock because it was grim. And in Nebraska, they didn't have a big band like Guy Lombardo or anything like that. They just had Pop Hawkins. He used to play Old Lang Syne by blowing across the top of a Dr. Pepper bottle. That's all there was.
That's about all there was.
That's about all there was, sir. And that's about the what?
Hold it.
Let's don't end the old year that way.
That's just our way of saying goodbye to 75.
Now, have you heard the commercials out here in California from Forest Lawn? They have some interesting commercials that they've been running the past few days to discourage people from drinking and driving. Forest Lawn, probably the biggest mortuary in the United States, invites people to go over to Forest Lawn and have a cup of black coffee. And they always get a big crowd. It's not so much that people go there for the coffee, but I think they want to pay their last respects to Mrs. Olson. Well, one strange news item to wrap this up. We always have a strange news. You're going to go right through to the end of the year, aren't you? Oh, this is a funny item. It's from Mount Clemens, Michigan. They arrested... Well, I don't know whether you'll be too proud of this in Mount Clemens, but they arrested 3 men for going Christmas caroling in the nude, in public. That's the way they carol back in Mount Clemens, Michigan. And an elderly lady was the one who made the complaint, and they arrested the men. And she went to court, and they asked her if she could identify the men. And she said... Any of the carolers, she said she couldn't remember their faces, but she'll never forget their fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. From Mount Clemens, Michigan. That's what she... I thank those in the studio for being with us on New Year's Eve. We have Miss Joan Rivers tonight, Orson Bean, Charles Nelson Reilly, and Scatman Crothe. We'll be right back. After this.
This being the last year before the new year, we thought it would be appropriate to look back on 1975, examine the events of the year. To do so, we called upon perhaps the greatest expert of the year, making his farewell appearance for 1975. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Father Time. Hello.
What do you mean, hell no?
No. I said hello. Greetings, Father Time.
Well, I'm sorry I'm a little late. My hourglass is on the blink again.
Well, that's perfectly all right.
Never buy an hourglass from a man in an alley. Never trust a guy with hourglasses going up his sleeve.
I see. Tell me, Father...
Shoddy merchandise. For a shoddy sketch.
Tell me, Father Time, how does it feel? Your days are numbered. I mean, it's almost time for you to pass on.
Didn't I meet you at an office party last year? You could be my father.
Father Time, what single thought comes to your mind when you think of the year 1975?
Something my wife said on her honeymoon.
Something your wife said on your honeymoon reminds you of 1975? What was that?
It was over so fast.
What is that you're carrying?
Well, it's a gift they give you when you're ready to retire. It's a modern version of a sigh. Frankly, I hate it.
Why is that?
Well, they give it to you when you can't cut it anymore.
Isn't the sigh part?
I'm glad I'm going out this year.
Will you take me with
You
you?
don't know how glad I
Would I
am.
go
This
with you?
year will be over.
Isn't the sigh part of the traditional Father Time image, just like your clothing?
No, my suit didn't get back from the cleaners in time I had to borrow one of Catherine Kuhlman's old moo-moos. That's what this is. She had a bad rally that day. The only kicks I get these days is wearing this standing over a subway grating when a train goes by.
Then I take it you don't enjoy being Father Time.
Are you serious? Look at me. I'm 1 year old, and look at me. All bent over, wrinkled, with a long beard.
That's a shame, and you're not even 1 year old yet.
Yeah. I went from Pablin to Preparation H in 1 year. Puberty was June 7th. Went right through puberty. 4 o'clock. Well, I guess we have to remember those famous words, we've all got to go sometime.
Who said that?
The Montefuscos said that. But look at it this way. Look at it this way.
I'm trying to look at it anyway.
Listen to me. Death is only nature's way of telling you somebody else wants to use the tennis court.
What kind of a year would say that 1975 has been? Let me repeat the question. What kind of a year would say 1975 has been?
There hasn't been a worse year since 1921.
What was so bad about 1921?
That's the year Howard Cosell was born. A little late in the sketch for that, but we'll take it.
What would you say was the biggest single business failure in all of 1975?
Single biggest business failure, I think,
Yes.
was the factory they built to make Wilbur Mills party hats. That went right in
Right
the
down the
tubes.
drain.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Democratic presidential candidates?
Well, I fall asleep every time I try to count them.
I see. And what about television's Family Hour?
The Family Hour.
Yes.
Television's Family Hour.
Does repeating the questions help any?
No, I think it was so dull that a lot of families were started during that hour.
All right, then look at it this way. What was
Maybe I could sell this to a rabbi.
What do you think was the best thing that happened in 1975?
Chick I met in Toledo. She made me look like this in April. Well, I've got to go.
Oh, no. See, Father Time, I hate to see you leave. I just got to know you, and I'll never see you again.
Well, I'm not leaving. I said I got to go. I drank a few beers at the New Year's Eve
I
party.
see. Father Time, I hate to see it all end.
Yeah.
What happens to you now?
Well, I might try out for the New York Jets. My legs are better than Joe Namath's. Otherwise, I shall fade into that Never Never Land where time stands still and nothing ever happens. The guy had to blow his nose right on the straight. Did you hear some guy honk it over there as I'm doing the setup and some guy goes, well,
Maybe you could say it again.
It can't hurt us. I'm going to that Never Never Land.
That Never Never Land.
Where time stands still
Time stands still.
and nothing ever
And
happens.
nothing ever happens. That's the Father Time rest home in the sky?
No, that's Burbank.
Oh, you
That's
son of a
what it
gun.
is.
We'll pause for this brief intermission. We'll be right back with more of the show, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to the last, 12 minutes of 1975?
That's it? Well, here we are. It's hard to believe, but this is our 18th New Year's Eve together.
That's right.
18 years we've been together.
You'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that. A lot of water has gone under the bridge in those years. A lot of everything.
A lot
has
of
gone under
everything,
the
yes.
bridge
It's
in
called
those
Time a Joke. Hey, I don't know whether you saw it. Anyway, we have Joni Rivers with us tonight, Orson Bean, Charles Nelson, and Reilly, and Scatman Brothers, and we have a brand new set.
It is
John,
gorgeous.
John Shrum, our set designer, and his staff came up with for the band. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
years. That is some thick.
Yeah. And a special isolation thing over there when singers are here to accompany, and Eddie.
I know what that's for.
That's for the guys to duck into quickly. I see. But anyway, they do remarkable work here, and hope
That's
it
beautiful.
makes the band sound better at home.
Yeah.
It sounds great here in the studio. We want to get a little better acoustics. How's it feel over there?
Oh, it feels great. It's beautiful. It really is lovely, but I don't know how in the hell we're ever going to pay for it. I really don't.
Well, this will come out of your, tips that you pick up. Joni Rivers is here tonight, and she is a busy gal. She works all the time. On Saturday, she will be appearing at the Host Farms in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. What's Host Farms? You're from Pennsylvania.
I don't know.
Aren't you from there?
I'm from Pennsylvania, but you can't know everything in a city.
Yeah, but you should know Host Farms.
I just don't happen to
Lancaster.
know. I know Lancaster. I don't know Host Farms.
Oh, well, that's where she's
You know
gonna be.
everything about Nebraska?
Yes. You say that's the difference between you
What's the
and me.
smallest town in Nebraska?
Hayter, Nebraska.
Hayter? What's the largest town?
Omaha.
Omaha.
On Friday, she's on Hollywood Squares. He bought Hayter. What does he know? On Friday, she's on
Ever been
Hollywood.
to Host Farms?
What?
Ever been to Host Farms?
Yes, I played there once.
Oh, did you? Then you
On-
know where it is. No sense asking me.
Well, being from Pennsylvania, I think you should know that.
I don't know it.
All right.
I admit that.
On Friday, she's on Hollywood Squares. On the 12th,
I knew about Hayter.
May or may not be the smallest town now. It was when I was back there.
Well, that's when I knew about it.
On the 12th, she'll be here hosting a Tonight Show. And the following night, she opens at Ye Little Club in Beverly Hills. Then she's working, I think, 2 Sweet 16 parties in Encino. And Earl Scheib is opening across. She'll be there at that opening. And would you welcome Miss Joan Rivers? What can I tell you, chic? Chic.
The Rainbow
chic.
Flasher. Hi, sailor.
I'd heard they'd retired the NBC Peacock this year, but I didn't know you,
Why'd you buy anything?
No, that's
I
very
bought it
pretty.
from a Mexican widow. Who thought...
That's very pretty.
Thank you. So you just gave all my credits. Happy New Year. We have what?
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
What?
another 8.5 minutes.
Oh,
and,
I'm sick of it already.
what? 3.5, then we're going to
3.5.
cut away.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Well,
Gosh!
happy... You
I am sick of New Year's. I'm sick of the bicentennial. It hasn't even started. I thought it was last year.
They're
I
running
bought
out of
Christmas
bicentennial
ornaments.
minutes.
They're bicentennials. And it hasn't somebody said to me, I did my minute a year and a half ago. Who's left?
They're running out of people, you know. They come up with people now. Hi, I'm Stephen Garlandong. And you say, who's Stephen Garland?
Hi,
You know.
I'm a hooker from Beverly Glen.
200 years ago today.
The whole army had tried. I gave the whole army a disease.
Yes, anyway. That's the way it was 200 years ago.
That's the way it was.
So New Year's, you
Oh,
depressing?
Well, first of all, see, I'm so stupid
Oh.
that I'm an optimist. I made a New Year's resolution like a dope, because they're going to fall through.
Well, no, that's a good idea. It shows a positive attitude.
Yes,
What did you resolve?
I'm going to write a book for women that hate to cook called Fear of Frying.
Fear of frying.
Not a heavy, but we have another minute.
Well, what are you going to do? The last, you don't want to throw it all away in 75. Save the big stuff for the new year.
Edgar, did you make resolutions?
I made some, but they're easy to keep.
Yeah, Edgar wants to have breakfast in bed. I said, good chance. You know, move to the International House of Pancakes. I'm not getting
You're right, though.
It's-
People make them and they don't keep them.
I don't keep. Last year I tried. I said, I'm going to make love 352 times this year. And Edgar said, put me down for 12. It's been a rotten year. I'm glad it's gone. 76 should be much better, boy, because to 74.
You know what happened? You know what I think happens? It's the
Don't
one
you feel? Everybody feels that way,
Oh, yeah.
by the way.
76. I think what it is, it gets depressing, and everybody
Yes.
goes out and they push a little too hard. They say, well, for some reason, it's the last day. We're going to be happy. We're going to have a great time. So you go out already, you know.
Are you going out?
No, not really.
I wasn't asked anywhere. You know how many parties are going? Thanks, Helen Reddy and Jeff. You didn't ask us. Thanks, Harold Robbins. We weren't asked.
Weren't asked.
Thanks, probably to your house. We weren't asked. Thanks, the Hollywood Squares group. We weren't asked. I'm so depressed.
You see?
Edgar locked the door on me.
You can't get...
He's having a party inside. I'm going to be outside knocking.
Do you
If I
have
come
really
in.
any plans? Now, come on. You have something you must...
Well, I don't make last New Year's Eve. I thought we just
Remember New
stayed
York?
alone.
New York, where the ball comes from
Yes.
Times Square?
This
Yeah.
year they're not going to have the ball. They're going to pass the hat instead.
Yes, Mayor Beam slides down with a hat.
With a hat saying, help us.
We didn't do that in Nebraska. You heard me talk about Nebraska.
Yeah.
Every New Year's Eve, Uncle Ned would throw a capon off a silo. And it would just come down, hit the ground. It was a small version of New Year's Eve.
No, but you have to do. Last New Year's Eve, I wanted to be very romantic with Edgar.
Yeah.
So I got into a black nightgown, and I said to him, tonight, you can do anything you want to with me. He said to me, get on your hands and knees. And I did, and he stood on my back and changed a light bulb. Then it's over.
Edgar's not the old romantic.
No, not the old romantic. You know, and I don't know why. I try, but it's... You know why? Because we married too late. We married... Oh, I was no chicken, Johnny. Who we kidding?
Well, I never ask your age, and I don't really want to know.
No, and you never will know.
No, I wouldn't.
You could pull a fingernail out, I'd lie. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be enough of a, cad to ask you.
Cad.
Cad? Boy, does that date you?
Oh, not me. I don't remember anything since the Korean War. Nothing. My nurse held me up. She said, see? She got a double hernia from holding me.
So
But
you
she held
got
me
married
up.
late, really?
Yeah, I got married. My wedding...
But they say that's good because you've had all those experiences before you meet somebody.
Please, I was so... the hot gift of my bridal shower was a monogrammed denture cup. I mean, you know, we were not children.
We have cut away, do we? Yes, sir. Now,
now it's gonna be New
are we
Year.
going to come back, and when we come back?
Yes, are we?
During this break?
Wow.
Oh,
It'll be a whole new year.
it's a whole new year.
You'll see a different change in me.
Okay. But you'll be a year older, you see?
Says you, mister.
We'll be back for the New Year's in just a moment. Stay with us. We've spent a number of New Year's Eves on this show, and
What?
I think if we had to say anything, you said it. Let's hope that 1976 is a better year around the world for
All of
everybody in all countries, and that's all you can wish. That
We should all have
it's a
peace
happier.
and happiness.
That's all you can wish. It is such a cliche that you almost feel corny saying Happy New Year, but that's what everybody hopes, that things will just be a little better.
But you know, it is like a new beginning. I feel much better now.
It's like spring.
It's like spring, and we should all have health, and our children should be happy, and everyone should mind their own business.
How is your health?
My health. No, it's wonderful. I'm so glad. I get very depressed till after New Year's. Now I'm fine again.
You see? Just a magical
yes,
moment.
I started Halloween, got me crazy.
Yeah?
I got the blues at Halloween.
Why?
Holiday blues.
Did you see today, it just occurred to me about New Year's Eve, it was in the Los Angeles Times today, our astronomer friend, Dr. Carl Sagan, had a perspective to put the time that men have been here in perspective. He had a cosmic calendar showing that actually, in the last second of the existence of man, everything has happened in 1 year since the Earth was formed, the whole universe was formed, and only in the last second of that whole cosmic calendar was all of man's technology and all of the inventions and everything happened in that little 1 second, to put it in perspective. It's interesting.
Yeah, but
it makes you feel a little...
They're still messing up.
Yeah, after all of that, we're still not doing it right.
I got stationery from Tiffany's that you couldn't put the glue on the back. There's no glue.
No glue?
Yeah, so that's a mess up, that little second.
Little things like
Yeah,
that.
it was morning stationery. Do you want to hear depressing?
Morning
stationery.
What's morning stationery?
Well, when somebody dies...
Oh, I see. I thought you
get
meant the
little
time
black
of day.
cake.
I
Yeah,
didn't
so you're writing a condolence note.
I thought you meant there was something I didn't know about that you... It's so exclusive, but it's only for morning, writing in the morning. I said, boy, that's chic.
Bring me my after tea stationery. This is MOU morning stationery.
Yes.
So you go to write notes, you're not feeling cheery to begin with, right? Now you go to take the envelope, you go, and it doesn't stick. So now you got to put a happy face on the back of the
It says smile.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
So I crossed the R's. I mean, you know. So I wrote to Tiffany, and they didn't answer me, so I guess they mislaid the letter, Tiffany. So I thought I'd mention it on the show.
Well, I'm glad you wrote to him before today.
Yes.
Because as of today, it'll cost you 13 cents.
Yes.
Starts today to write it. You find that happy news?
It's a postman.
That's a 30% increase.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of changes this year.
Yeah, the post office has got to get itself together.
Yes,
You know, they're going to let somebody run that knows what's going on.
Well,
It'll be cheaper to phone pretty soon.
Oh, not necessarily. They'll jerk that up, too.
Yeah?
You're going to call information. They're going to say to you, why don't you look it up? It's going to cost you a dime to have a recorded message, tell you that.
That's something else the phone company wants to do now. They want to start charging people for calling information. Like that's not a service they should provide.
Yeah. Exactly. America's getting crazy, you know.
Yeah.
That's why and especially the West Coast, which is why I fit in.
Yeah, California is a little faddish.
A little faddish?
Well, they tend to grab on
I
little
got 6
groups.
gifts from Whips of All Nations.
Whips of All Nations?
That's faddish. Faddish.
You've seen the shop up in Sunset, the Marquis de Suede? I mean, there's little things like that out here that they have.
My neighbor gave her husband a vasectomy for Christmas. That's strange. True.
Well, that shows you the new,
The
new
trend.
thinking. The
She gave him a
trend.
card. Because I love you and you love me. Here's $50 for a vasectomy.
I think clever. Little rhyme there. Very nice.
It was a slip knot, so she didn't care.
What
you know.
Did you stay home for Christmas?
Oh, we had the worst Christmas. That's why I'm so glad we're in 76.
What was it, a disaster?
We went to Mexico. Never again, and they can sue me if they want to. The lowest.
No, you don't mean the whole country.
I mean the whole country.
Oh.
I mean, you walk down a street, a man jumps, right? A man jumps out of an alley and says to Eggy, you want to buy a thigh? That's a very...
Want to buy a thigh?
A thigh. A married man. And he bought it. We have it home, cute.
I don't like to travel during Christmas.
Well, our friend died. We went with a
sorry.
couple,
I'm sorry.
in Mexico. Good luck trying to get a body out. They will not declare, they won't declare a tourist legally dead till all the luggage has been stolen. I mean, you just have to... They had to bury this guy in Mexico.
Oh, come on.
I'm not kidding. Johnny, and you wonder why I'm glad we're in 76? Did you ever see a Mexican hearse? It had dice in the window. I mean... You don't know. Sorry. The funeral, after the funeral, the mortician, is that the name? Yeah. After the funeral, he gives my friend a box that has her husband's ears and tail in it. I mean, they're crazy. Crazy.
Different culture.
Different culture. She had him cremated. I mean, Christmas Eve, we took the ashes. Because she was cremated, because she couldn't get him out, And so we sprinkled them all over Mexico City's best restaurant, and nobody noticed. I mean, it was just, it was like, they said, cleaned up, Jose? It was just terrible.
Well, you could have put him in the car ashtray and brought him back to the country. Who would have known? That's kind of a clever idea, right?
But when you go to smoke your cigar, goodbye, puff, puff. But it was not a good Christmas, you know. I have strange friends.
What do you look forward? Yeah, I know you have some weird people. I know the girl used to go to school with you,
Heidi
Abramowitz. I still remember Heidi.
Oh, yeah. She married well, though.
Oh, that's good.
She got a facelift for Christmas. See, I think
you keep saying you're going to do that.
Any second.
Why? You don't have any.
Oh, grow up, sailor. Are you kidding? I look down.
Grow up, sailor?
You could put 3 seeds in here and things will grow. I mean, it's over.
I don't see any.
Oh,
well, a little...
Where?
A little charm line.
Charm line.
Isn't that what they say? Those are laugh wrinkles.
Yes, sure. I've been hysterical for 10 years.
Remember the first joke you heard as a kid? The lady had so many wrinkles on her forehead, she had to screw her hat on? That's one of the first jokes I ever remember.
Thank God wrinkles don't hurt. You'd be screaming. Remember those jokes? They don't. But, no, but she had a face, and she looked, because women, she looks great, very tight.
Is that dangerous?
Oh, I don't think so, except every time she crossed her leg, her mouth opens. But see, she lied to me. I said, did you have it done? Because I figure, ask.
Yeah.
And this liar, she says, no, woman is talking to the partner here. No, she says it. Went to the bathroom, tinkled through her ear. I mean, so obvious.
Well, that's a bad doctor, obviously.
So you can tell who's had a facelift. They go to the John, they take off an earring. It's a dead giveaway.
So you really think you'd do that?
Anything. Here we go again. But I feel 76 is going to be a good year for me. I'm going to fix it all up, pull it all together, Why not? Why not?
They come out with General Motors comes out every year with a new model. Why shouldn't women? Or men for that?
Why not? So, except men, no. Men don't have to. Men, here we go. Yeah. The guy I was in love with the most. We can talk seriously, can't we?
Sure.
I feel very close to you tonight.
Good, I know. It's an emotional time
It's an emotional time for you. The guy I felt the closest was Myron. Thank you.
Yes.
Myron Silverbaum.
Myron Silverbaum.
Not much of a name.
Well, what
Gentile.
Gentile.
Kind of a stupid Gentile,
Yes.
Myron Silverbaum.
What did Myron do? What
But
happened
he
to
was
him?
very short, and I was mad about. I mean, he was, but like short.
Short, you mean?
He would walk into a pool hall and open his mouth. They shoot an 8-ball into it.
Oh, well,
That's
short.
That's short.
Very extremely
You know how
small.
short he was?
Well, how short was he?
Summer vacation.
Yeah.
He worked at the circus. They used to shoot him out of a pistol. I mean, that's a short.
Oh, you don't find a man of that caliber very often either. Sure. If you'd have thought of that bad joke, you'd have done it.
Because I went out with strange guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Myron's.
I went out with a dentist, 38 years old. He had no patience, so he gave himself braces. So he used to give me a hickey. I'd have 12 stitches in the neck. I mean, it's like, you go home to your mother, what's up? Nothing. I was strange people I dated.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a happy happy 1976.
Oh, I hope
really.
we all have a great 76.
We will.
boy.
It's going to be bicentennial, but...
Bicentennial. Why not? Better to live here and be able to about this bicentennial than live somewhere else where they'll shoot you if you say against it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. We're back. You know, it's nice to not only see you here as my first guest in 1976, but I understand your father is
My
out here with you
father,
tonight.
Dr. Malinsky and my friend Mrs. Harris, and it's nice to have him here.
I think
here
that's
with me.
super.
So,
Thanks. Welcome.
And I should also say, I'm just doing kidding about Mexico.
I know,
My
because-
friend didn't die. We saved him.
Ah,
yes.
good.
We had to pump out his stomach. But we saved him.
Well, the food you can talk about. Orson Bean is here tonight. He's a raconteur, actor, comedian, paper terror, magician, and I don't know what he's doing lately outside of being with us. Maybe he has nothing to plug at all. Would you welcome Orson Bean? At the tremendous risk of being repetitive and corny, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I don't know what one can say that has a better sound than Happy New Year.
Happy New
Marvelous New Year doesn't make it, and success, but Happy New Year seems to flow.
Yeah. I like that. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
It's become a cliche because it sounded good the first time anybody said it.
I wonder who the first one was that said that.
I don't know.
Some caveman or something?
When it's only a relative amount of time since the New Year started on January 1st. I mean,
Well, they changed the calendar. It was a Gregorian calendar, then
Right.
they Caesarean calendar.
the New Year really should come at Easter time, in my opinion. Who the hell wants to start a New Year with snow hanging around and all of that stuff? A New Year should start when nature's New Year starts.
In the spring.
Little green things are coming up. January should be in April. Except that would ruin April. The hell with that.
Actually, if we were smart, we would have 13 months of exactly 4 weeks each.
Would we?
Yeah.
Did you didn't mention, I was sure Carolyn put
Oh,
it
doesn't
up.
make sense. That's
Yes, it makes
52
sense to me.
weeks.
13 weeks of
4 weeks each.
There had to have
and
been
put an
a-
extra month in there called Mulman.
Mulman.
April, Mulman, May, or whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You could have a national contest
Yeah.
to find that new month, and then
Yes.
everything would be the same each year.
The guy would say, when were you born? He says, the 13th of Mulman.
That's right.
Right.
Interesting. Anyway, I interrupted again, which is I'm prone to
There
do.
was a second added tonight to the whole world. And I was sure that you would take note of that. Didn't anyone hear that?
Oh, yes, they added 1 second to balance the
Right.
atomic clocks or something
right,
like that.
Right. And I don't know what we're going to do with it. But there's a second more that we have to fool around with.
Yeah.
Like, how are you, honey?
Happy New Year.
You want to fool around for a second?
Oh, don't start.
Time is a rather interesting thing. I think
Yes.
J.B. Priestley did an entire book on time.
Yes.
A thick book on just time and what it really is and what it means. And it means what you want it to mean
Of
here.
course. We have such
Arbitrary, you know.
we have such things that are arbitrary that we select. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that Christmas was a great holiday for thousands of years before the birth of Christ. In fact, the Hanukkah holiday and the Christmas holiday are simply incorporations of a pagan holiday that existed for thousands of years before. And like, even as the Catholic Church in South America tried to get the people to give up some of these pagan Indian holidays and finally said to hell with it and incorporated it into St. Cecilia's Day or something,
Right.
where they kill the chicken, and dance around.
Well, Christmas, or the actual date of Christ's birth, is really lost.
No, I
And
think
December 25th, according to I thought they thought it was in the spring sometime, or at
Maybe
least.
April, maybe Mulman. What do we know what they called them back then? The point is, though, that it is really the midwinter solstice plus 2 holiday. The midwinter solstice is the 23rd of December, and it's the shortest day of the year. Now, back in the days of the cave people, it looked to them like the sun was getting smaller and smaller in the sky. In fact, it was. And they didn't know if it was ever coming back. And if it didn't come back, they didn't go and put on the electric light. They didn't turn up the heater. That was it. That was all they had. So by December 24th, the sharpest-eyed shaman in the tribe, the wisest man, would have spotted...
There he is now.
The guy didn't... Yeah, right. The sharpest-eyed man, the wisest man in the tribe, would have spotted by the 24th of December that the sun was not getting any smaller. And by the 25th, he would have been able to spot that the sun was coming back. So over the millennia, the 25th of December, even though it might have been called, the 19th of Gazunkas back then, became an enormous period of celebration. And Christmas was against the law in the church in the early centuries because it was a pagan holiday. And finally, they figured you can't lick them, so join them, and they decided to celebrate Christ's birthday on December 25th, which was already a big party. Same as the Jews did with Hanukkah. And I heard the other day that there's an African holiday on December 25th. So every religion
Sets an arbitrary date.
Right.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Next question. What is the capital of North
Now,
Dakota?
here's a question from Mrs. Freebie.
Yes.
Montauk. She'd like to know.
Right.
Why don't you start with a joke?
All
Start
right.
the new year with an out-and-out joke. No pretense at...
There's a book called Breaking It Up, The Best Routines of the Stand-Up Comics, and they sent it to me in the advanced thing the other day, and I'm in there. I'm the very first one because it is chronological above the new wave of comics. And they started way back in the 50s with me and go up through Gabe Kaplan and the David Steinberg and Robert Klein and the new ones. And they've got the first joke that I ever told on your show there, so it bears repeating. It's about the parrot. The guy who has a parrot who is in a very bad way, Joan. This parrot writes to the Lovelorn column. He's desperate for a female parrot. He sits looking out the window as the pigeons fly by anything. People come to the man's house and the parrot's looking at them with terrible, malevolent, beady eyes, making obscene suggestions as they walk past the cage. He's in a very
lonesome parrot.
A lonesome parrot, to put it mildly. The guy reaches into the cage to change the paper or something. The bird is on his arm. You know, it's terrible. Finally, the guy takes the parrot to a vet. The vet examines the parrot, says, well, he says, it's obvious what your parrot needs. He says to the man, I have a sweet young female bird in the back. The parrot's in his cage listening to the conversation. And the vet says, for $15. He says, your bird can go in the cage with my bird. And the parrot's in there, and the guy says, geez, I don't know. He says, $15. And the parrot says, come on, what the hell? Finally, the guy says, all right. He gives the vet the 15. The vet takes the parrot, puts him in the cage with the female bird. They close the curtain. The two men go and sit down. There's a moment of silence, and then suddenly, quack, 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 feathers come flying over the top of the curtain. The vet says, holy gee, he runs over, opens the curtain. The male bird's got the female bird down on the bottom of the cage with one claw. With the other claw, he's pulling out all her feathers. He's saying, for $15, I want you naked, naked.
Yes, it all comes back to me now.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you make resolutions, or are you past that point?
It's like New Year's Eve is just another day to me, really. So much has happened in the past year.
Yeah.
And my life keeps,
Your lifestyle changes, like the tide goes out and a new lifestyle comes in.
It does. I enjoy that. What the hell, says I.
Yeah.
I'm sitting out in the backyard. This is a true story. A couple weeks ago, sitting around, naked as a grape in the afternoon California sun, reading a book by Dr. Lilly, who was the guy that wrote about the dolphins, talking to the dolphins. Remember? But this book is called Center of the Cyclone. Quite fascinating. You'd love it. And it's all about the things that we are taught are not possible, that are possible, but because we are taught they're not possible. For example, what happened to me, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, that there's nothing maybe that isn't possible if we believe it. And at that moment, a butterfly comes fluttering past me and lands on the chair next to me out in the back, and I decided to see if I could talk to the butterfly. I mean, I'm just sitting around there, contemplating the thoughts in the book and my navel or what have you. And the butterfly is there, and I decide to see if I can talk to the butterfly, and I says, hello, butterfly.
Good opening.
Yeah.
That sets the tone.
Right. But I try to get really relaxed and make contact with the butterfly.
Now, you're serious?
I'm serious. And a butterfly looks at me, and I look at the butterfly, and he flies away a little bit, and he comes back. And he keeps coming closer and closer and closer. Now, I'm condensing the story because it took about 40 minutes, what happened with me and the butterfly. I really felt that I was making contact with the butterfly, and he kept coming closer to me, and I held my finger out, and I said, come on, get on my finger. And he came, and he made 2 loops around my finger, and then he went away. And then he came back, and he sat on the chair next to me. And I tried to see if I could really feel how it would be like to be in that butterfly's body, and to feel those beautiful wings, and to have that little body and those extra legs and things, and to feel what it must be like to have all the stuff behind you, all the caterpillar type stuff, and to live for love and beauty, because it's all, they don't live long, and all they do is fly around and make love with other butterflies. I'm not even sure about that part. They fly around and they look pretty. And I really felt what it would be like to be that butterfly, and I invited him to feel what it would like to be me, and I felt that he did. And then he flew up way high to the chimney of my house and flew down real fast and made, again, 2 loops around my finger and took off. Then I stood up naked in the afternoon sun and put my finger there, and I said, "Come on." And the butterfly flew over and landed on my finger, and we looked at each other for about 30 seconds, and then he went away.
True?
True.
That's a strange story.
And yet it didn't seem strange.
It's almost, what's the word I'm searching for? It's almost like, the old saying, that all was one with you, we are all one and so forth, that kind of,
That's how I felt about it. Really, I felt at that moment like I was totally in touch with
That's strange.
everything. It was interesting.
Take a break here. We're coming right back in just a moment. 2 moments. Nelson Reilly is here tonight also. What do you got here?
I've forgotten. I really just wanted to mention this as a favor to the people. It's a little book called Hope for the Flowers about butterflies. Somebody gave it to me a year ago, and I dug it out after my experience with the butterfly. If you see it in the bookstore, buy it. I don't know who publishes it or anything, but it's just wonderful.
Good. Thank you. Charles Nelson and Reilly are all here tonight. He's a funny man, most talented guy. And he's directing now. He's production of La Boheme, starring Roberta Peters. In Providence on January the 10th, and he leaves for New York soon to begin work with Julie Harris in the Broadway play The Belle of Amherst. Would you welcome Charles Nelson Reilly? Happy. You're dressed. See, you came...
Well, I'm not really dressed. I didn't have it clean.
Oh, I see.
Since the last time, you know, and I feel like it's not really... You know what I mean? But it's okay.
Are you going to party tonight?
Yeah, we're going to have like a dinner party.
Well, that's nice.
You know, just the family, the group.
I wasn't asked.
No, you're going to a biggie. You're going to a big one. No?
Do you do the cooking yourself at this? Because I understand you're in the...
Yeah, I love to cook.
Fine.
I cooked Christmas Eve. Cooked a good supper. Oh. Happy New Year and thanks for everything.
Well...
You know what I mean? And a healthy Happy New Year to everybody. You know? Why not, right? I spent the whole day with my doctors and the hair man, the teeth man.
Really?
Got the new glasses. I'm ready for another year. No, it's true. I went all day. I have a chauffeur.
1,000-mile checkup.
I have a chauffeur to do all I have to do because you can't park. You know, and I'm going to New York, so I had to get it all done.
One must have a chauffeur.
Well, just for the day when they glue everything together for the new year. You know, and I went to the dentist, and I said, "Now, is it permanent?" I said, "Sure." Oh, the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A woman coughed in the balcony, you know, everything could come off. But it's, you know, now it's terrific. It's a reissued, you know. Even took the car in this morning. Took the car in, left the car. That's why I have a chauffeur. Got in and went all day. Now I'm ready again for a new year.
So you're a complete human being
Completely.
again.
Doctor said perfect. Everything is perfect. That music was beautiful. Stephen, wonderful. Lovely. So I'm fine.
Stephen?
Well, just jokes. You know,
I
the
see.
set is beautiful. They look wonderful.
Yes, they do.
Beautiful.
The man do.
Yes,
They
everything.
do in that set.
Bumblebee wanted to talk to you.
He's on your answering service.
Yeah, by the sweetest thing.
When he buzzed twice, hang up.
Yeah. He's got to leave, though. He's got a party to go.
I thought that was a charming trip. You ever had an
yeah.
experience like that? It is almost a religious type of an experience.
No, it's true, though. My friends that live in Connecticut, I have 2 wonderful friends. Thank you. I wonder if that was for the hair, the eyes, or the teeth.
Well, it might be for your car.
I love you.
What?
No, but these 2 ladies have 2 farms in Avon, you know, and one feeds chipmunks, and one feeds not the chipmunks. You see, the same kind of houses, separated by 200-300 yards.
One feeds the chipmunks and
one
one
loves
doesn't.
the chipmunks. Here's your chipmunk food. The other one doesn't like the chipmunks because they eat the bulbs and the seeds.
Oh, I see.
And they'll feed the squirrels and the birds. So the one that doesn't like the chipmunks plants in a certain order all the bulbs in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
The one that loves the chipmunks doesn't plant bulbs. So during the winter, true, the chipmunks dig up the bulbs, carry them over to the other yard.
And replant?
And replant them in exactly the same formation. Tell that to your butterfly. No, but I mean, these are stories. I mean, you know, it's true.
Well, animals, they say, have, have a certain
Oh, it's wonderful.
intelligence there.
I'm going to direct a thing. I have a funny story to tell you about. Being a director is hard.
I would
Because
imagine.
you're the director. You know, and they come to you and they say, do you want 2 doors or 1? And you go, well, oh, it's me. Well, I guess I'll go with the 2 doors.
2
They're all
doors.
sweet.
Big
And, you know, you're the one that has to decide what color socks. You know, you always want to look around for Harry. Then you're the director.
And you're going to direct Julie Harris?
Yes, we worked on it for 8 years. I think we're ready.
8 years?
Yeah. That's true. Those projects, you know, takes a long time. You know, you're writing a book. We're going to work on that. Takes a while, but 8 years we worked on it.
You're a good director, I hear.
I'm a wonderful director. I love to direct. I direct at home. Like, don't put that there. I'm one of those. You know what I mean?
Neat everything has to be?
No, I'm a mess. But I'm always telling everybody what to do. There are too many red balloons. You know what I mean? And you get tired of that. But that's what, so I figured I'll do it, I'll get paid for it. Instead of saying that's the wrong saucer. But I directed one play once, was very funny. And what you learn about when you direct a play is that the set designer only looks at the set.
Costumes.
The costume designer only looks at the clothes, and the light guy looks at the light. It's fine. And I have to look at the acting, because without the acting and the life, there's no play. You know what I mean? There's nothing. I don't want to see a pretty thing. You know, that's something else. I want to have a life that the audience can relate and maybe learn something from. So I'm in the balcony, and the leading lady, who was a celebrated actress, was very drunk. This was in the previews. And we had done the play out of town. It was a triumph, and now everything was changed because it was New York. You know, you get ready for the big city, New York. So she was a little drunk, and the producer was sitting with me in the balcony during the previews. And she said, oh, those diet pills are causing her to make such strange moves. I said, they're not diet pills. They're in a very big bottle with a red label. And so the lighting guy, as I'm watching this horrible scene in the second act, the lighting man comes behind me, who's now a very famous lighting man, the most famous, whispers in my ear, Mr. Reilly, the light coming through the window will not be like that on opening night. I said, David, I don't really care about the light coming through the window. And watch the scene. Then the next night he comes to the next preview. The light coming through the window will not be... I said, it doesn't matter. So... Finally, in this play, which was No Coward, they're always lighting cigarettes. You know what I mean? You're constantly smoking cigarettes, darling, and it's much the cigarettes. And she has this big dress on like a parachute, and it catches on fire.
Oh.
Now, I'm not talking like, you smell something burning, like...
You mean
I'm
fire,
talking
fire.
your basic flash. You know what I mean?
I'll show you fire.
Right. So I'm in the balcony, and there she's on fire. And as she's burning, and the audience is screaming, he comes to me and says, Mr. Reilly, the light coming through the window. I said, David, it doesn't matter. The leading lady is on fire. And who cares? But it's true. It's true.
So I assume you hosed her down quickly, and she was all
Oh,
right.
she was fine. Nothing ever happens. You know that. It happens, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know? Like in God's Favorite, the last play I was in, this huge rock fell right in the middle of the scene. We had rocks in the second act, and they're stored in the first act because there's no room backstage. You know, it's not like a movie where there's a lot of room backstage. If you come off the stage, good night, Philip. Oh! And you have to go down the hall. You know, I mean, it's Broadway. You know.
Good night.
Certainly. So they've stored the rocks over.
Butterflies Are Free is my favorite play.
So a rock fell down.
So the rock fell down, but no one was hurt. But these things happen all the time.
That's
but
what
it'll
makes-
be all right.
That makes what makes theater what it is. It'll be a smash.
It'll be fun.
Do you know the word that they have in the theater for making do when something goes wrong? It's called swallowing the saw. Swallowing the
saw?
file.
The file.
It says swallowing the file is what you do when something goes wrong. And it came from a play that was originally produced, a prison melodrama, where the guy is ready to escape because his mother has baked a cake with a file in it. And he gets the file out and is just about to make his escape by sawing through the bars, and he has a gun and everything. And one of the prisoners passes down the word and says, "Renfrew, your mother is dead." And the guy says, "Oh," and he picks up the gun and he's going to shoot himself, and that's the end of the melodrama, that's the end of the play, and the gun goes click, and it doesn't work. And they have a standby gun with the stage manager off stage, and off stage he hears click, and that sound don't happen. How is he going to kill himself? And the curtain is waiting to come down, and he picks up the file, and he says, I'll swallow the file. And he's gone like this, and the curtain slowly comes down.
Swallow the
Why
file.
not?
Yeah. Another parcel of showbiz mania behind the scenes. We'll take a break, and we're coming right back. Have any more untoward things happened? while
Well,
you were-
opera, I'm going to direct it. Now, opera is funny, because you never know what happens in opera. You have no time to really direct it. You have to do it very fast. You have 2 or 3 hours, and then it's a run-through of an act. But everyone is very talented in opera, and you just tell them, and they do it right away. But I saw an opera, it was a debut. You know, debuts, you wait till a new tenor comes from Italy. And this is a true story. Aida was the opera in City Center. And in the very beginning of Aida, the tenor comes out, Radames. And Radames is the leading tenor, the hero. It would be like Vic Mature if they had it in a movie. You know what I mean? Big guy. Yeah, Clint Eastwood. That's
Right.
your Radames. And we're sitting in the orchestra, and Gloria Lane played the mezzo part of Amneris. These names are hysterical. And so the tenor comes out right at the top of the opera. There's no overture in Aida. The curtain goes up, and out comes this hero. And he was this short. Shorter than Myron Silverbaum. And he's the leader. And he has on, as they have in opera, the platform shoes red, this big, with the laces going up like this, because he's the leader. And then you sit there, you go, the whole audience goes.
And even with the shoes, he was that short.
Still short, but those shoes are like this with the laces up and the cape, you know? And the whole audience goes, you know? Because, and then he opens his mouth. You figure, gotta be fantastic.
Yeah.
And everyone gets ready for his first phrase, which is Equel Gaudiero Fossi. I mean, if anyone cares, for the New Year.
Well,
So, and you realize not only is he a dog to look at, and this is the New York debut, cannot sing at all. Then the Amneris, the mezzo, has a hat on like Nephrodite. You know those hats that go way back? And you know in a play, you must try on your costumes first. See how it works. And I always go, oh, that'll be fine. You never try it with the clothes.
Right.
Try that with the clothes.
Right.
So what happens is they get to a part where he has to kneel in the second act to get the hero's wreath, and she's got to put the hero's wreath on him. Now, probably he got there that afternoon from Italy in the plane, right? First time in the shoes, and she's got the hat. So she has to have the hat like this because it goes way back like this, and she has the wreath, and the cue is coming in the music. Then it comes time for him to kneel. Now, he can't kneel because he can't get it back. The shoes are so big. So finally, he gets down, and he's 2 feet from the ground. And she's 5 feet above him with the wreath. Then on her face, it's, oh, why didn't we try this with the shoes and the hat earlier today? She's done for. So what she did is she just, what the hell, tossed, ring toss time. What can you do? She just went, whoa. And it landed on his head like this, and the problem was he turned right to the audience. And it was just disaster. He went back to Italy. I think the opera was over 10 after 11. He took the red eye.
The red-eyed Italy. Called the red-eyed Italy.
But you must always try with the clothes.
Remember that, folks out there in theater. We'll be right back after this.
Try it with the clothes.
The red-eyed Italy. Scatman Brothers is with us tonight. He has an upcoming one-man show scheduled to open on Broadway in February. Would you welcome in the new year, Scatman Brothers? Scat.
Happy New Year to you again. I gotta tell you this.
Yeah.
Before we say anything else, I've enjoyed doing your show in 1975. And here I am back again in 1976 because I really got my kicks.
That's the worst poem I've ever heard in my life. Happy New
But
Year.
you was asking a while ago who was the first one to say Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You know what the first one was? Adam says, Happy birthday, Eve. Well, he told me it would die.
Yes, well, somebody told you right.
Paul Block told me that. Good.
Do you like working New Year's Eve at all?
Look,
Did you used to
man,
work?
I like to work any kind of Eve. New Year's Eve, 4th of July Eve, Christmas Eve, all them Eves. I'm glad to be here. And Cat said, you gonna make a resolution? I said, yeah. I hope I'll be here next year.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 65.
65 years
65.
old. Well, you'll be here next year.
You know, Johnny, years ago when I was a kid, I used to do shows for the kids in the neighborhood, you know. I was about 5 and a half. And I used to do a great magic trick for the kids. And I like to do it for the folks here in 1976. It's a very, very fine magic trick. I used to tell the kids, and I say, kids, you see this penny? I'm going to take this penny and put it in my right pocket, and I'm going to say the magic words, and that penny is going to go over into the left pocket. Now, I'll say the magic word. Now, the toughest part about this trick is trying to get this penny back over into the other pocket. So I'll say the magic word. There it is, kids, right there.
I didn't see it, did you? Good morning.
Chào cả mọi người. Và hôm nay bên em lại về một chiếc Hyundai Accent, xe sản xuất 2019 bản đặc biệt. Xe này phiên bản màu đỏ. Và nói chung là cũng hơi tiếc một chút là con này để đúng ở cái vị trí này nó cũng đã bị bơi nội rồi mọi người nhé. Tuy nhiên là nó bơi nội trong vòng đúng tầm 1 tiếng là có cứu hộ rồi. Vì vậy là nó xử lý được tầm 97%, 95, 97%, nói chung gần như là nguyên bản. Tuy nhiên là vẫn phải xử lý. Vì vậy là sẽ có một mức giá ưu đãi cho mọi người nhá. Thì bây giờ thì trước khi báo giá thì em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe cho mọi người cùng xem đó. Xe tay nắm cửa mạ chrome xi nhan tích hợp ở trên gương. Lốp la răng rất là mới và cái la răng 5 chấu rất là cách điệu, rất là chất. Accent là phân khúc hạng B, cạnh tranh trực tiếp với Vios với City. Tuy nhiên là Accent của Hyundai thì giá cả rất là phải chăng. Điều nhận biết như thế. Và nói chung là nó cũng rất là thể thao. Các bạn nhìn thấy biểu tượng Hyundai này, Accent, đèn hậu rất là thể thao luôn. Rồi, mọi chi tiết của em nó rất là đẹp. Đèn trước thì rất là đẹp, giải một đèn bi cộng giải đèn nét này, rất là chất luôn. Mặt ca lăng dưới tản nhiệt. Nội thất bên trong thì vô lăng đã được bọc, cần số rất là mới, đi theo kem nồi, phanh tay cơ. Đấy, da ghế rất là đẹp, da ghế còn rất là đẹp nhá. Đấy, hàng ghế sau rất là mới, điều hòa sau đầy đủ cả. Nói chung là bên em xử lý nội thất thì không còn mùi nữa và rất là đẹp. Thật sự nếu không để ý không biết được đâu là nó bơi nội đâu. Nhưng mà nó cũng bị một tí thôi, nên là gọi là tắm trong mát thôi. Đấy, xe rất là đẹp. Thật sự các bạn ở bên em thì chuyên xe nỗi, nhưng mà bên em xử lý nó rất là đẹp, chứ không phải là xử lý nhìn nó nát đâu mọi người ạ. Sự nhìn rất là đẹp. Xe màu đỏ, số tự động, bản đặc biệt, có cửa sổ nóc. Vì vậy là nói chung là rất là chất. Xe đèn trước rất là sáng nhá, đèn bi cộng giải đèn nét nhá, đèn gầm thì cũng rất là chất. Nói chung là con Accent này thì không phải bàn quá nhiều, chúng ta bàn về giá thôi. Chứ xe thì đẹp, chất lượng. Và với một chiếc xe M2019 bản đặc biệt thì bên em giao bán mức giá là vì nó bơi lội rồi nên là em giao bán một mức giá là 409 triệu. Đấy. Xe rất là đẹp. Mà bên em, nếu mà bên em ghim đã bán là xe đã bán rồi, còn chưa ghim gì là sẽ chưa bán. Mọi người chủ động liên hệ với em nhé. Còn xe thì mọi người đến trực tiếp xem xe, thuê thợ thời đến chất chót thoải mái, nhưng mà bên em báo luôn là xe đã bơi nội rồi. Xin chào mọi người. Thank